Have you ever set goals for the new year or made New Year's resolutions full of determination and motivation, only to fizzle out by like mid February? I know I have. And honestly, probably more times than I can count. Here's the deal. If you want next year to actually be different and to feel different, not just sound different on January 1st, you cannot keep doing it the same way that you always have. In today's episode, we are kicking off a 6-week series called Goal Setting That Sticks. And I'm going to walk you through the exact process that I use to set goals in a way that actually works, in a way that will actually allow you to follow through on the goals for the whole year. We are not doing this rushed. We are not choosing resolutions based on all the shoulds, and we are not going to abandon everything come February. We are going to do this a new way. We're going to do it slowly, we're going to do it intentionally, and we're going to do it together. Hey friend, welcome to the show. I am so glad you are here for this episode because this is something that I have been so excited to share with you. So today is episode 10, and it actually kicks off a 6-week series all about goal setting for the coming year, but not the kind of goal setting that you've probably done 100 times before. So to kick things off, let me tell you about the goal setting planner that I created for you. First, it is completely free. You can grab it in the show notes. And this episode specifically goes along with part 1 of that free goal setting planner. And listen, I highly recommend that you download it and that you actually use it alongside this series. Now, of course, you will get value if all you do is listen to the 6 episodes on goal setting. But if you want real, lasting change, the kind that is actually going to carry you throughout the year, then the planner and the podcast are meant to work together to help you do just that. So I don't know if you listen to audiobooks. I listen to audiobooks all the time. And I can tell you that if I just listen to a personal growth audiobook, I always get takeaways, no doubt about it. But if I actually pause when they have exercises to do, and I actually do those exercises, and I sit down and I think about it and I write it out, it is like a whole new world, right? Same thing here. One, just the podcast alone is going to be helpful. But if you pair it with this planner, I'm telling you, it is going to be transformational. So get your planner. The planner covers all 6 episodes. So don't be overwhelmed when you first grab it and print it out. It's kind of big, but we're going to take it step by step so that it is not overwhelming and set ourselves up for success. Now, I want to tell you why I created this series and this planner in the first place. Like you, as the end of the year approaches, I start to think about, what do I want next year, right? What do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish? So I've been thinking about my own goals. And I have to be completely honest. I have said things like, I'm going to eat healthier or I'm going to work out more times than I can count. I bet you can relate. And I've tried SMART goals, and I've tried motivation, and I've tried discipline. And still, some of the stuff that I set out to do didn't stick. And it kind of hit me because I am a personal growth junkie, you guys. Like, seriously, I have read countless books. I have listened to endless podcasts. I have immersed myself in the world of life coaching for many years. And honestly, I have learned so much from all of that, right? But what I realized was that I was not applying all of these amazing principles that I have learned to the way I set goals for the new year. So instead of just doing the same thing over and over like we do, I sat down and I really put a lot of thought into this. Okay, what actually works? And I pulled from everything that I've learned. I pulled from some of the amazing books that I've read, like Atomic Habits and The Big Leap and Playing Big, and from psychology and neuroscience, and from law of attraction principles, and so many of the coaching tools that I've learned, and the mindset shifts and the identity work. and, real life experience as well, right? Mine, my friends, my clients' real life experiences. And I have mapped out a process that checks all the boxes. And that is what I'm sharing with you here. And I can tell you, I have been working on this in advance so that, I make sure what I'm giving to you is really good, really high quality, stuff that's really going to work. And I am telling you, it has been amazing. And I know it's going to be amazing for you too. I am so excited for us to do this together because I know that next year at this time, if you do this with me and you go through all 6 and you work through your planner, your year will look so different than any other year before, and you will be a new woman in all the best ways. So before we dive into what we're doing and how we're doing it differently, let's just talk through the reasons that our goals usually don't stick. So there's a few really big reasons. The first one is that we rush into them. We feel so much pressure to have it all figured out on January 1st. And we skip reflection and we just jump right into action. Second, we set goals based on what we should want, rather than really thinking about what we want our life to look like and feel like, and the experiences we want to have, and choosing goals that get us that. Third, we skip identity work. We focus on the outcomes, but we don't take the time to see ourselves as the woman who can have that thing or do that thing. And the fourth mistake we make is that we try to do everything at once. And this is one I still fight myself on to this day. I have a gigantic list of things I want to do, right? And that I want to accomplish and get done. But when we take on too much, we burn out and then we give up. Now, I have seen this firsthand when I was a fitness instructor. I was a fitness instructor for years. I worked in several different gyms, big name ones that you would know. And it was the same year after year after year. Every January, the gym was packed. My fitness classes would be overflowing with people. And by mid-February, half of those new people were gone. And come March, we were right back to pre-New Year's numbers. And this isn't because we're lazy. It's because the way that we approach goal setting is broken. So first off, we are not going to rush. That is why this is a 6-week series. If you think about it, for most of human history, winter wasn't really a time to push forward, right? It was a time to pause, a time to reflect, and to decide what came next. January itself is named after Janus. At least I think that's how you say that. And Janus is actually a Roman god with 2 faces. One face is looking forward, as you would expect, but one face is looking backward. So this month was literally designed to be a bridge between reflection and intention for the coming year. And we see this in nature too, right? Winter is a season of rest, not frantic forward motion. So if you've ever felt rushed to dive into goals on January 1st and it felt a little off to you, you're not wrong. So we are going to go through this process over 6 weeks because you need time to think. You need time to reflect, and you need time for your thoughts and your ideas to marinate. And that is going to allow a lot of clarity to surface. So it's really important. And there's another reason that reflection matters so much. Great things rarely come from a place of scarcity. When we set goals from a place of I'm behind or I'm not enough or I need to be fixed, we reinforce that identity. And the law of attraction teaches that you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are and what you consistently focus on. And it's not just the woo-woo stuff. Neuroscience backs this up too. Your brain is a master at looking for evidence of what is possible for you. So when you take time to actually acknowledge what you've already done, who you've already been, how far you've already come, and all of the beautiful, joyful, awesome things that you have experienced over the last year, you shift into abundance. and you give your brain the evidence of all the good and all that is possible. And that shift makes everything else so much easier. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do in this goal setting process, this new way of setting goals, is a year-end reflection. So most of us trudge right into the new year without ever pausing to look back. So in part 1 of the planner, you will walk through different areas of your life, your body, your mind, your family, your relationships. You're going to think about your career, money, your home, and joy and adventure, all the areas, right? And you're really going to take time to look back over the past year. You're going to look at what actually happened. You're going to look at the wins and the highlight moments. And you'll probably find some things that you're ready to release. So one way we're going to make sure we don't miss anything and we help remind ourselves of all the things that happened last year is by looking through our photos. So this one was especially powerful for me because I take a gajillion photos and I had a ton to look back through. But you can also look back at your calendar. You can look back at your bank statements. That can be really telling and interesting to see what it is you're spending money on. And you're going to write all of this down. Now, one thing I did forget to mention early on is that you will need something to record all this information down on. I didn't put writing space in the planner itself, but you will want to record it. You're going to want to write it down or type it out somewhere because you're going to want to look back on that as we go through this process. I'm just using a journal, but you could use a journal, a notebook, a spiral, whatever you got, or put it in the Notes app on your phone or open a Word document, whatever works for you, but keep it somewhere and don't hold back. It doesn't have to be pretty or perfect. It can be super messy. Mine certainly is. And you're going to write things down as you go through this process. And I am telling you, this is going to fill your cup. It is going to show you all the awesomeness that the last year held for you. I am telling you, I saw so many amazing things just going through my photos, things that I had kind of forgotten had happened in the last year. Like some things it had seemed like it was further away, or even just little things like if you had asked me, I would have told you we didn't really travel that much this past year. And it's true that we didn't go overseas, but we actually did travel quite a bit. We went to Moab camping as a family over spring break, which was fabulous and gorgeous. Highly recommend. My son and I took a mother-son only road trip from Texas to Tennessee, and we made several stops along the way, and we did some hiking, and it was gorgeous and a great time to bond. I have tagged along with my husband this year on several of his shooting matches that he does. We went to New Mexico and Arizona and Pennsylvania. And that was fun to kind of see him in his element and explore new places and just spend time together, just the two of us. And my son graduated from high school this past year. That's huge. Not just for him either. That's huge for me too, right? And we worked through all the college stuff. We did a bunch of college tours, right? Like there was so much stuff. And on my business side, I did a ton this year. I started Thrive with Intention this year. I got certified as a coach and I started working with women and worked with several women on life-changing stuff. And I started this podcast. Like it has been an amazing year. And as you go through this process, not only is it going to fill your cup up, you're going to really see the things that light you up and get you excited. And it's just a great reminder that you can follow through. And even if it's been a really challenging year for you, you're going to be able to see the bright spots. You're going to be able to reflect on all that it taught you. And from this place, after you've done this reflection, deciding what actually comes next is going to be a lot more clearer and more aligned with the woman you want to become and the life you are designing. When you're done with this reflection, you will be operating from a place of abundance instead of lack, from a place of self-trust instead of self-doubt. And that is the perfect foundation for everything that we're about to build. I can tell you that I really enjoyed that process so much more than I even imagined. Like, I knew it would be good. I like looking back at pictures of my life and stuff. That's why I take so many of them. But when I actually sat down and looked and wrote down all the things that happened this year, I really was kind of blown away. And I think you will be too. So I am so excited for you to go through this exercise. All right, so one more note about the planner. When you download it and you flip through the pages, you're going to see part 1, part 2, part 3, etc., right? 6 parts to go with the 6 podcast episodes. When you sit down to work on part 1, go ahead and read through all of part 1. You don't need to read through the entire planner. Please don't, in fact. I mean, you can. It's not going to hurt anything, but I do want you to read through part 1 because it'll give you an idea of kind of like where you're headed as you start out, and that will be really helpful. Next week, we are going to move on to part 2, which is the anti-resolution approach, because we all know resolutions don't work. So go download your planner. Give yourself this gift of reflection. Give yourself the gift of time spent so that this next year can be different in all the best ways. All right, y'all, that's all I've got for today. Go be fabulous and have a very Merry Christmas. Make sure you take my free Shift Happens quiz to find out what you're really craving next in midlife. Or if you think you might be ready to dive into one-on-one coaching with me, book a free clarity call. You'll find both links right below the video.